Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I will be taking a look at a book from Self-Made Hero called Tumult, written by John Harris Dunning and illustrated by Michael Kennedy. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Michael Kennedy's work. I went on and on and on about his absolutely superb work Mint and some of his other cartooning. Got lucky enough to interview Michael, so go check that out. But this was actually his first professional work. I hadn't snatched it up when I got all of his other stuff because I was getting all of the self-published stuff. But I had to go out and get this because I had to see, everything that Michael's done because that's how I get. And so got this, and because it was written by someone else and it wasn't his self-published stuff, I was a little bit, I didn't know what my expectations for this were gonna be. I was ready to be disappointed, but hopeful because Michael is a great artist, and I felt like his contributions would pull any project up. So I was pretty confident I would enjoy it somewhat, but actually really, really wound up enjoying this book and really wound up enjoying the writing as well. Really surprised by the style that Michael uses here because it's very different than any of his other styles that he uses in his work. And that's one of the things that I was going on and on about with Mint, is how many different styles he cycles through so successfully. But in this book, it's very much like a Paul Azcateca type of style because it is a crime noir. I feel like this is leaning into the Paul, I think that's how you say his name, Azcateca. He did Robert Kirkman's Outcast, and I really like that guy's art, especially in the combination of where things are dropped out and they're done just in color with the black and white, some pretty flat colors. I think that was, one of the things that made the art in Outcast so appealing to me, along with the almost looking like it's drawn with a Sharpie or a thick pen, but still feeling very realistic. Kind of Sean Phillipsy vibes here and there too. And Michael stays, because this isn't one of his projects, he stays consistent. So more proof that this is an artist that can really do anything that they want to. And when you see their art, you're getting exactly what Michael wants you to see. Is nailing the style exactly. So the book starts out, it takes a lot of twists and turns. I'm going to have to talk about some of them, but I'm going to try and stay away from others. It's been out for a while, so this will be a semi-spoilerly review. It starts out seeming to be just a down-to-earth drama where you have Adam, who's a commercial art director and is aspiring. He directs commercials and is aspiring to direct films. And he's just out with his family. He's hurt his foot jumping in the water. Everyone else is going out having fun. There is some tension between him and his partner, Sarah, or his wife, Sarah. She wants to have a child, and he's not really so into that idea. And he starts forming this flirtatious relationship that eventually becomes a sexual affair with a much younger girl named Tammy. And because he's at home and everyone else is going out having fun, they're kind of able to sneak it in while everyone else is out. At this point in the story, she's playing around with tarot, and his first card that he gets is the Fool, which obviously ties to him jumping off the cliff at the beginning of the story and hurting his foot, but also sets up, he's going out on a journey and is going to make a lot of foolish decisions, and he gets the Tower and Death and other cards, and those become major components of the story as it goes. There are a lot of really nice pieces of dialogue in here as well, like nice little one sentence things that I think really say a lot. This one here says, "I never thought I'd be the bad guy in the story of my life." I've definitely had experiences where I feel like that, like I never thought. I'm always trying to be not that guy, and when you accidentally, become that guy for a moment, it's really difficult to deal with. So that was a fun one. After his affair with Tammy, Adam's marriage is ruined, and he goes on to then form an obsession with this woman that he meets just out at a party one night. He has a really intense one night stand with her, and he gets her name, Morgan. You're also at that point introduced to his best friend Merrick, whose party he's at, is a guy that he's hanging out with that becomes a character. Then you get a jump into a style change in the book, which again, Michael is great at, and here you can see they're doing a lot of weathering. They're showing the Ben-Day dots and all of that. So jumping into the old comic style, and there's these characters inside that you like. There's a Zoltan, and you're getting this sense that maybe this is Morgan's imagination, or maybe this is Morgan's back history. But here the character says Morgan's back, and you think, okay, maybe this character's like some supernatural entity. It's felt all very like grounded and down to earth drama about a guy who ruined his marriage, and then all of a sudden we're taking this weird turn here. So this idea of Tumult that the book is named after, and this Matryoshka doll style like nesting egg that's on the cover starts to become much more explicit in this, that like, hey, we're involved in something a little bit more tumultuous than just a tumultuous life or a tumultuous relationship. Really confused at this point what's going on as a reader, but in a good way. Adam then is out on the street and sees this woman who reminds him of Morgan, and he's obviously had such an intense sexual encounter with her, he's obsessing, and he approaches her and she's like, I have no idea who you are, like, you're mistaken, my name's Layla, I don't know any Morgan. And so the story starts to get much more complex from there. Then he receives a call, but it says the voice is familiar, but it sounded like a little girl somehow. So, and it's rendered in this style. It's like, oh my God, is he getting a call from a fiction now? Like, I don't know what's going on there, but it's intriguing. I'm looking forward to more of how these art changes play out. Then he talks about, like, he finally has a sexual encounter with the Layla character. We were in Layla's bed and she was shape-shifting. She was a girlish, manly, bestial. It was like fucking a barnyard. And I just thought, man, that's a hell of a piece of dialogue. And you start to get the sense of like what you think is actually going on now is, oh, okay, he's encountered this woman who has DID, or split personality dissociative identity disorder, and that's why she doesn't remember him. And these other cartoon images are like the interior. Those are the other characters, the little girl. These are all sub personalities. Adam's friend Merrick is also a really interesting character in the book, and gives the writer a lot of opportunity to refer to films that he obviously likes, and gives Michael a lot of good reason to draw scenes from famous films. And Merrick's always using the stories of these movies as metaphors. So like here he's saying, I hardly need to remind you of the love story at the heart of the otherwise steely violence fest that is the Terminator. This was the dawn of a new age of action films, that of the strong female lead. Sure, Sarah Connor was just a waitress, but she had balls. And that wasn't the only innovation. There was a love story here. It didn't go smoothly, though. At first, Sarah thought Kyle Reese was a stalker. It was only when faced with a demented cyborg from the future that she finally gave him the time of day. And these metaphors are always like Merrick's way of communicating to Adam, like, advice for his life. Against all odds, even though Sarah initially considered Kyle the enemy, they got together, and it was all because of his steadfast persistence. Oh yeah, and he sired the future messiah of humanity's last hope against a horde of all-conquering evil robots. And then Adam says, well, I'll try to process that revelation. So it's a really fun way to like get like movie critiques, or like your understanding of movies, into a book. I thought that was pretty cool. There starts to be a suggestion from this character that shows up that maybe there's a government conspiracy involved somehow. I don't want to, because that's like, there keeps, like, every 20 pages or so, there's a big curve in what type of story you think you're reading. So I don't want to give any more than that. I think it's important to talk about the multiple personalities is an interesting thing, but there continues to be this idea of Matryoshka dolls and a lot of other twists and turns that come along through the story. Another just quote that I liked right here before I wrap up the review is this character says, pain is the ultimate teacher. And I do think that that's maybe not the only teacher, but it is a pretty damn good teacher. And so there's just a bunch of dialogue like that. The scenes about the movies are really interesting. The art style all throughout, the changes in the art style, the swerves in the story. It's not like there's one plot twist, there's a new plot twist every 20 pages or so. The way it all comes together, I thought this was a really, really, really fun, again, I don't even know if I can call it a crime noir book, but kind of playing in that genre. And yeah, it just shows really what a diverse artist Michael Kennedy is and what a great writer John Harris Dunning is. So I'm going to have to look and see if John Harris Dunning has done any other graphic novels, because really cool book. Really enjoy it, and would recommend it for sure. Absolutely. Go get it and let it twist your head off in a tumultuous series of twists and turns as you go through the Matryoshka doll of the story unfolding itself. House on Fire by Matt Battaglia is a just gorgeous book where Matt's kind of making an emotional response to the years of COVID and wrapping that into a sci-fi dystopian future that really the sci-fi dystopian's backgrounded, and you're focused on the emotional journey of two characters in a really beautiful way. And then that's enhanced by Matt's like really awesome, loose, kind of Paul Popish dry brush work. And then Sean and Matt have worked to get this second kind of orange spot color in there that's going to look really, really beautiful, and has allowed Matt to use his dry brush technique to add tone to the thing too. So with Sean's production technique, this is going to be a gorgeous book with a lot of heart.